Good evening. How we doing? Wednesday. We're all doing well. Bit of a later start, but hey, it's been a busy one. What's going over there? Yeah, I saw that. Nothing much. Okay. How's everybody's day going? Ugh. Feel like I haven't stopped since about this time yesterday, actually. I had a Fallout stream, and then I made a video, and then I slept briefly. Well, actually not that briefly, a reasonable amount of sleep, actually. And then I got up today and basically haven't stopped all day. But this is the way it goes. I am off on my travels tomorrow, so no stream, but, you know, I've got to get prepared because I'm basically away for most of the rest of the week. Most of it. Mad dash ahead of about 3 o'clock tomorrow when the timer will effectively run out. Yeah, not too bad, thanks, Sango. Hope you're doing well. You need to blow my nose, apparently, now. Him, excuse me. Evening all, how's it going? See, Stream Alliance is up to its usual shenanigans. So, Avowed today. We are going to make our way into the garden. And I'm guessing this won't be our last Avowed session. I think it'll probably be our second to last, but I don't know. First I have to find... There's the icon. We'll press on. I'll wait for that. I'm going to Google a quick thing. Goody gumdrops. Mostly goody gumdrops. And we got the shaders regenerating, probably because I was messing around with shaders and stuff for Oblivion and the mods I'm running and stuff. So, yeah, might take a minute for that to sort itself out. Yeah, not bad, thanks, Noel. You doing well? It's a slight cold, I think. Very, very slight, but... Actually, it could be hay fever. Not that it's particularly hay fever weather today, but, you know. Doesn't take much, does it? What's the weather look like next few days? Gonna get steadily warmer for the next few days, isn't it? It's nice. So, yeah, we took down Ludwin last time, and also largely disrupted the leadership of Solace Keep, who were wildly incompetent, to be honest. One of whom was literally willing to destroy the keep and basically risk the lives of everyone in it, with this harebrained idea that it was his only way to save his people. It really wasn't. But yeah, both of the two leaders of Solace Keep seem to have horrifically oppositely, what was... I've forgotten the word I'm looking for now, can't find it. Very opposed viewpoints, which are very extreme. Neither one made the slightest bit of sense at all. So that was somewhat irritating. However, we managed to claw at least some semblance of reason out of the scenario. And now we're pushing on to the garden, hopefully without having climbed over the bodies, as it were, of the Steel Garrote, who succumbed to the Dreamscourge when Ludwin's pressing towards the garden as an agent of Wodica, caused Sapadal to lash out, arguably in self-defense, but also very much a wounded animal vibe, and turn a lot of corpses in particular, but also to a degree living people, into dream thralls, which was definitely problematic. So, yeah, what we have kind of discovered of Sapadal is that Sapadal appears to be a young or somewhat newborn god, or was at the time of their appearance in the world, and the Inkida found them and, you know, took Sapadal as their god and became Sapadal's people. And there were some issues around Sapadal's reacting to things that they did very poorly. And then Woedica basically decided to attack Savadal because, I don't know, couldn't control anything outside of Woedica's control is really something she has a problem with. Been rather a psycho herself. And yeah, that led to a confrontation that did a huge amount of damage to the living lands and basically was instrumental in finishing off the Inquisitor, because Savadal then backed into a corner, attempted to defend himself, and the result when a cornered god tries to defend themselves tends to be messy, unsurprisingly. So yeah, it was... we kind of now have to figure out whether or not Savadal is an ongoing problem and should remain bound, or whether or not we should release them. Certainly, no, Woedica is an ongoing problem, so maybe that's not a reason to keep them bound, seeing as Woedica isn't. They do seem somewhat trapped in living lands either way, though. Won't be able to... I suspect they won't be able to influence a great deal beyond it, given the Ardra that they are connected to is disconnected from the Ardra around the rest of the world, so... There's questions, many questions to be answered. Right, we're making progress. I'll try and get myself settled in. I think I need to adjust the straps on this a little bit. Right then. Let's be having me. Holy crap, that's not good. One eye on a tennis match, looks like it was about to end, and the seesaw has swung the other direction, it would seem. No momentum. Which I'll find out later, won't I? So, there lieth the gate to the garden, which is out there across the Acid Sea, and the bridge to it has long since collapsed. Here is another way in that Nandru found and built. So we have to make our way in. I'm guessing there's still some distance to travel, though. You will not be able to return once you enter the garden. Do you wish to proceed? I don't believe there is anything else we have to do, so... oh yeah, you choose one or do one or do the other, so... Yes, apart from there's maybe one bit of star metal somewhere out in the wider world that I haven't found, and I'm not too worried about that. It's only upgrading a weapon that I'm not going to use anyway, so... Yeah. It is time to press forth.
Well, this is it, I guess. Feels very different from the last time I left Galawain's tusks. I will say, it's nice to look out and see Solace still standing. Thanks for that.
Such had no right to make that decision for everyone. Becoming quite the local heroes had to be done. Yeah, Costume is nuts. But anyway.
Right. It's better than an Adyran Envoy do it.
Solace is still standing. And so are you. We're in this together.
Just so you know, Kai, it's starting to sound like you like me.
If you happen to need a reminder, do let us know. Brooding in silence can be quite the mood killer.
Not to
Depends on what
spoil
mood
the
you're
moment
after.
with good news, but I doubt the rest of the island has been quiet while we've been looking for the garden. Things have only gotten more tense since Fjord, and the Steel Garrote probably hasn't been doing us any favors on that front.
Especially when they're led by a woman who doesn't seem interested in staying dead. Not to mention, after we take care of the Envoy's little god,
That's ominous.
we'll still have an empire bearing down on us.
Neither right for study, and instead we argue over who owns it. Ringrim's right to leave. Some truth to that. Maybe curing the Dreamscourge will cure the island's insanity. Living lands could be at war by the time we leave the garden. Don't remind me I didn't sign up for this. Kinda did, though. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. I'm happy with that one.
Who knew an archmage could be so relatable?
Can't say I'm too excited about just walking into the garden. I grew up learning I needed to protect that place, but it never felt like more than a children's tale to me.
I hear ya. This island is weird enough when all we have to worry about are vengeful plans and soul-altering corruption.
Am I the only one who's looking forward to the garden? We're pioneers, stepping into the great unknown, a land of mystery.
We have to remember to love them in spite of their lack of proper enthusiasm, dearie.
It's supposed to be a rare opportunity to put a few metaphysical theories to the test. Right to be worried about certain death. It'll be the first one to the garden in ages. You won't find. I think it'll be interesting, but being frightened, not frightened exactly, but running blindly into it is not wise. This is a dangerous situation, so... I don't think any of those quite fit, though. First one to the garden in ages is not a bad point. I think I'll go with that one. That's the best one.
Imagine an untouched spiritual wilderness just waiting for us. I have a theory about the garden, or a warning, depending on how you want to look at it. Sapadal has been imprisoned a long time. The garden will be a reflection of their dreams. Their nightmares, their madness.
Assuming they are
I
mad.
wouldn't be surprised if we saw visions or hallucinations, and not even the fun kind.
Pittsburgh knows, that's great, thank you. Chance to become raving lunatics, at least we get to meet Sapadal in person. You're making this up. I'm going with this one. Pittsburgh knows, that's great, thank you.
Anytime, darling.
Before we go any further, I have to ask you something. You told the Inquisitor that you intend to free Sapadal. Set them loose upon the world. Is that still the plan?
Deserves the freedom, struggling with that question, it's the plan, and I assume that's a better idea. Struggling with that question.
You're not the only one. Sapadal is responsible for the spiritual health of the living lands, and the island has suffered for it. No matter what the Inquisitor said, I don't believe there's a right or wrong choice to make here. Just the one you believe in.
Has to be right or wrong what we're doing. Yeah, but no, but yeah, but doesn't make choice any easier. Any more words of wisdom? Doesn't make choice any easier.
Good. Who said it has to be? Remember, we're stepping into a realm that is both physical and spiritual in nature. If you can call it nature. There's no telling how long we'll be gone. For all we know, time could run backwards in the garden.
This might take a while.
Not a chance. We're a crew now, so you're stuck with me until the end. Marius?
I told you I'd be with you till the end. I don't go back on my promises. What about you, Giada?
You're not going into the garden without me. I have to see this with my own eyes. Yatsley, if you feel like running back to Quilichi, now would be the time.
Somehow I don't think anybody's going to go for that option.
And tell Quilichi that I missed out on the most exciting part.
Wipe a tear from the corner if you're right. No, I don't think so. Alright then, we're in this together.
Fair weather or foul?
I plan on wandering the garden whether I'm traveling with you or not. I have to find out what the big deal is.
Agreed. I'm not waiting in camp while the rest of you have all the fun. Hope to see you out there, Marius.
Well, let's go then. We
So,
can't keep her
everybody
gone.
coming with me then? Just to be honest, I don't know who I want to take, really. To make sure I'm ready to go, I should be... So, do a bit of cooking, if there's any cooking to be done. Yep, there is, but that's about it. Cool. So Giata does have something she wants to say, okay.
So, this is it. The spiritual epicenter of the living lands. Where it all began, and where it all ends. For so long I have looked out on a horizon full of possibilities. Now that it's here, I'm too scared to breathe. Oh, why am I so anxious?
Good lord. You feel lost after all said. This place gives you hope. About to see something incredible. Turning point in your career, you tell me. Something incredible.
I suppose you're right. I'm frightened, I'm excited. I'm a lot of things right now. Do you remember when Manto Pastor sent you after the heart of an Adyran?
Of course, the power of his invention,
That was
yeah.
nothing compared to this. We are standing in the beating heart of the living lands. Just imagine what we can do with it.
Not much time to decide. Where did you given up your ambition? Sort of think you got your parents killed. Why must we do anything? Cut it out and let it bleed? No. Don't have much time to decide. I was worried you'd given up on your ambition.
I almost turned my back on animancy. And if I'm being honest, it was a relief. But now that we're here, who am I to reject my upbringing, my potential? My parents were going to build a better world for animancers. That dream was their legacy to me. You and I have come farther than they did, to an impossible place where anything can happen. Anything.
You decide what to do with your life. Family legacy is a heavy burden. What do you need? I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here for you.
Of course you are.
Because I like Giata.
I don't know what's going to happen, but you've had my back since the beginning. I won't forget it.
Right. Know any stories about the garden?
Well, that depends. I know a few spooky stories about the living lands. They may or may not have anything to do with the garden.
Let's hear it.
Okay, but if something goes bump in the night, I'm waking you up.
Let me think of a good one. There are so many, I can't decide. Which do you want to hear first? I know one about a ranger's dream, one about a haunted well, and one about a golden city.
Haunted well.
Once upon a time, a young girl left town to fetch water from the local well. After pulling up the rope, she discovered the head of a Delimgan, one of the tree folk, staring at her from the bucket. "Return me to my grove," it said, "and I will grant you 3 wishes." So she carried the head into a peaceful clearing and sat it down on a tree stump. First, she wished for long life. The head granted her wish. Second, she wished to be impervious to a sword blade. Granted. And finally, she wished to know what happens after we die. No one ever saw her again. All they found was an Adra pillar in the middle of a clearing, next to an old stump.
Careful what you wish for. Let's hear another story. Spooky, I like that
I
one.
heard it as a child. Took me years before I would fetch water again.
Let's hear another one.
Of course. Which one did you have in mind?
Ranger's Dream.
One sunny day, a ranger took a nap in the woods of Emerald Stair. He awoke to a forest of dead trees, the night sky full of unfamiliar stars. After getting his bearings, he walked in the direction of Fior Messivernal, but the settlement was gone. In its place was the most beautiful garden, hills bursting with flowers, the grass as soft as Valiant silk. Enchanted by this vision, he bent to pick a rose, but its thorn cut like a knife, severing 3 fingers.
Yeah, that's a vicious thorn.
A voice filled his head, shouting, "Go now, before the land takes you, body and soul." He awoke in his own bed, a wilted rose clutched in his 2-fingered hand.
That was interesting.
Nonsense, of course, but that's why I like it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's a bloody big thorn. Also, normally they stab, not cut. So, weird thorn that could that could chop. You know. Well, let's see the last one, the Golden City.
Which one did you have in mind? Many years ago, when Fior Messiverno was barely a dot on the map, an animancer got lost in the wilderness. He came upon a pair of ancient trees, their trunks and branches intertwined. A strange light shone in the space between the trees, and beyond that light, a city of gold. So the animancer returned with an axe to chop the trees apart and fit his body through the narrow gap. But with every blow of his axe, the towers of the Golden City fell. The walls crumbled, the lights flickered out. By the time he made it through, there was nothing left. Only the bones of a once mighty civilization. As for the 2 trees, they were dead, hacked to splinters, leaving him no path back the way he came.
If that's true, how does anyone know the story? Yes, that would be a good point. But these stories have a consistent theme.
Very perceptive. What do you think it is? I have my own opinion, but I'm curious about yours.
Mortals shouldn't reach for immortal power. Beware of nature that punishes the careless. Don't pursue what you don't understand. Just thought it sounded scholarly. Beware of nature punishes the careless, I think I like.
That is true of many places, not just the living lands. These stories might not shine any light on the garden, but they could inform the way we think about it. First, the garden is beyond all mortal understanding. If you think you're safe here, you're not. And second, when you walk into the unknown, make sure to bring a friend.
With the unknown, we're going to prepared. Bit of a contradiction, yes. Good thing we had each other.
Indeed. I couldn't have made it this far on my own. Hey, you're a good listener. Not everyone has the patience to hold their questions to the end. Alas, that is all I can tell you about the garden. For now, at least.
Right, let's go.
Who could rest at a
I'm going to
place?
take Giata, I think, because she seems really keen, and probably Yahtzee as well, because she seems more keen. I'm not bothered about taking Marius with me, and I was tempted to take Kai, but I think
Does anyone want to share a scary...
Giata is sufficiently into it that I'm going to take her with me. This might be a disaster and a very poor choice, but if it is, it is. Yeah, here we go. Let's just check that Giata is ready to go with anybody. Yes, she is. Cool.
Looks like a dead end.
Does? I don't think it is. Oh.
I stand corrected.
Oh, this is going to be iffy, isn't it? Ah! Sapodar wants us to get to the garden, so they're not going to try and keep us out. And it's safe. 2 videos on the live stream. Yep, it's a busy day.
That's it. The heart of the garden. Sapodal's cage.
You're saying that, I'm still not quite sure what you're referring to. There's a big old... well, there's this whole tree up there, which I'm guessing is rising above, and then there's that thing there that looks like it might be Sapodal's cage, which I assume is what they're referring to. Almost better than Ferrero Rocher? I think there's a fair few things that are. Floating in Keaton Ruin? Yeah, a bit ridiculous giving us new weapons at this point in time, so upgrades are probably more worthwhile. Green Thrall Elder Black Bear. Okay. Good to know, good to know. Letter from Tane. Darth, I made it to the garden somehow. Last thing I remember is getting lost, stumbling through the woods past the volcano, and now here I am. Then again, maybe it was all a dream. Maybe this is a dream too. What else is new? The plants are a nice touch, but a bit too humanoid. They'd fit right in the halls obscured. A little greenery to brighten up the enclosures. Anyway, I believe this marks the end of my sightseeing tour of the living lands. Not a moment too soon. I miss the comforts of home. Now, how do I leave? Oh well, I'll figure something out. I always do. Wink, your friend, Tane the Archmage, author of Tane's Chaotic Orb. P.S. Leaving this here for you, or a future version of you, to find someday. Take care. See you in the next meeting of the Circle. I'll save you a seat next to mine at the big table.
Tane was here? As in Tane's Chaotic Orb?
A good fight. Definitely put up a fight. Seems despite Sapodal's ostensibly wanting us to... oh dear. Wanting us to be here. Ladies... That's how we do it. Got him. Right. Charge up into a fight that I'm absolutely not ready to be going for, but anyway. Yes, I have a plan for one more video as well this week, Steve. If I can get it done in time, which I think I should be able to do. It's going to be a bit of work after stream tonight, and then finish it off tomorrow. Probably. I don't know, I might have to do a lot of it tonight. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of extra stuff to do tomorrow as well. On the other hand, I'm not getting a lie in the morning, so... that just factor into the equation, doesn't it?
I think this is the only way down. After you.
How about we do this first? A very assertive grenade throw, that. Mind you, you generally want to get a grenade away from you as fast as humanly possible, so... It's not the craziest thing I've ever seen. Mage Folk Orison 2. Life is a prayer. Of the insisted ones, we made a holy slaughter. Oh dear. The young we smothered with our hands. Of the oldest, we made fires and rendered them down into fuel to clear the encased insisted growth. From some we removed the hands, from others the features, all of which we gathered in heaps and drew the insisted wildlife to feed. Into these heaps we set poison. Of their severed heads we made pyramids, 10 heads to a side. Of the count of heads in each pyramid was 385. Of these pyramids we counted 7,707. Jeez. We spared those who could run with vigour, that they would lead us to other dwellings of the insisted. We made it known that mercy could be purchased by tribute, so that the insisted would gather together their livestock, their wine, their wealth to present to us. First 10 of these tributes we accepted and gave mercy, and then after the 11th tribute we began to kill all those assembled. In this way we made them gather themselves to be taken, census and killed. In this way we approached God through prayer. So yeah, that will be more on the psychotic genocide that Wodica instigated against the Akida. And even if Sapodal had been imprisoned coming, Wodica's crimes, it seems to me, are far more extensive. And genocide of an entire people who are completely blameless, as if genocide on its own was not bad enough. Ah, it's quite a nice picture. Geronimo! The short word of the yoga, yeah. Obsidian, you're doing it wrong. There's nothing behind the waterfalls. It's not how you do it. You design a game with waterfalls, you put stuff behind the waterfalls. That's the way it's supposed to work.
That's done.
2,967,195 people murdered on Wodica's order. Yeah, and Sapodal is the problem, apparently. I don't think so. Yeah, what is the point of waterfall and it's not hiding something? Also, at the very least, the plunge pool should arc outward behind anyway. So from that point of view, is this the way forward or Bloodless Shrine or just a detour? Wild Walker armor. It is light armor. Interesting. Receiving elemental damage applies status to nearby targets, and you do more fire, frost, and shock damage. That's 20 minus 20, minus 15 minus 20. Area effect damage and maximum essence. It's an interesting look. It's not really me, I don't think. Could possibly see if I can change the effects on it. I don't know if I can, but so that's the way onward. There's a way onward. Fuck that! That's magic fuck. So I don't know which is the way forward. I'll find out when we've napped. And that one was still alive, presumably infused with something of the spirit of Wodica, because I do believe that's how they work. Marius and Kai, I think, both wanted to chat. Yeah. Can't change armor, can I? No, okay. So I definitely don't want that armor then. Not my bag. I mean, it's useful, it's good attributes, but no better than what I have, really. Any upgrades I can get here? Pistol is already maxed. Grimoire's not, and Heaven's Strike. So Grimoire is going to be my first choice. Can't do two, but I can do one. Cool. Little buff. More glasswood branches if I can create them. Do not believe I can.
Envoy, what do you need?
You're alright to talk.
Next time. Envoy, what do you need? Thanks for talking.
When you find Sapadal, I hope you tell him how much I love what they've done with this place.
Didn't realise you had such eclectic tastes. Give me the creeps. There's nothing beautiful amidst. There's something beautiful amidst this chaos. Yeah, beautiful amid the chaos.
And you've got to enjoy it where you can find it. Besides, as divine prisons go, I can imagine much worse.
If a god is a being of vast essence, then imprisonment means isolating a massive, powerful soul in the Ardra here.
You make it sound like we have a ticking bomb under our feet. And judging from Sapadal's outbursts at Mount Forja and Naku Kubel, you're probably not far off. There are a few provocations away from disaster.
Sapphire and I can talk about compassion and forgiveness, but I believe they can change for the better, maybe. Who wouldn't be? They've been imprisoned here for centuries at least. They were volatile before their imprisonment. Since then, they've unleashed the Dreamscourge. Sabotage's complicated. All of these are somewhat true. That's the thing. I hope that's true. I'm not convinced, but I hope. Why wouldn't they be? Yeah, they were backed into a corner. People slaughtered in a genocide we've established of nearly 3 million, at least. And their reaction's not surprising, but they were also volatile before their imprisonment, harming their own people and others besides. So, yeah. Complicated.
Complicated. I've heard that before. It's never a good thing.
No.
I don't envy you having to deal with a loose cannon of a god. But I envy even less the mess you're going to have if, when, we escape this place.
I have a fluffy visitor. What do you mean? Dealing with Sabotage won't diffuse the political tensions. After this, I'm disappearing to a remote cabin for a year and no one is stopping me. It won't diffuse the political tensions.
Lucky thing your emperor sent his best representative as his envoy, right? You'll have your work cut out for you.
Don't have enough time to reflect on every conflict. Yeah, something to do with the Dreamscourge, not politics. Still got behind the worst of it, and they don't represent Adyran or me.
A lot of people aren't going to make that distinction.
They will when I drive them into the ground.
Ambassador Hilgard hosted Ludwig in Parodies for as long as her assistance was convenient. You may have
yeah, that was a bad decision.
But this is one situation where it's the thought that counts. And yeah, I know that's on the Steel Garrote, but it's not lost on anyone that your people despise animancy. Not when Hilgard banned the practice in Parodies.
That was indispensable. See your point. Hilgard had nothing to do with the Steel Garrote's plans of pure. I see your point.
Oh, I wish I were finished. You helped Ludwig destroy Nakuku Bell. And while most people don't give a tarnished skate for godless ruins, they'll see that as a powerful demonstration of siege weaponry.
Doesn't look good. Got a bunch of Dream Thoughts. The alternative would have been worse for Thirdborn. Yep. And again, Steel Garrote. Yeah, again, Steel Garrote. Actually, I sided with them, but I didn't have a lot of choice. Yeah. The alternative was worse.
One thing I've learned about war. Strife and distance have a way of reducing nuance. All anyone else is going to see is a threat display. On the doorstep of the Living Land's best cannoneers, no less. And then there's Solace. You might have saved the keep, but no one's going to talk about the disaster that didn't happen. They're going to talk about why Mount Forja erupted after all this time.
Because volcanoes do that. It's technically indirectly the citizen. It's a volcano. You can't hold them responsible for that.
You'd be surprised where people can find blame when they're spun up.
Yeah, anybody who says that is going to look stupid.
Real bad when a Steel Garrote force just so happened to be there when it went down.
Or eliminated when it did, though.
A lot of blame's going to be laid at Adyr's door. And if I had to guess, I don't think Hilgard's been helping matters while you've been out here.
I've been doing a lot of damage limitation along the way, though. Tensions are high and everyone out here is well armed, yeah.
If and when we get out of here, we're walking into a powder keg. And you'll have to choose a side. That's the part I don't envy.
I can't expect me to turn my back on my own people, sent to start a plague, not prosecute a war. People in the Living Lands deserve freedom, I won't help subjugate them. Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
I admire your principles, but don't underestimate what they could demand of you. Look, I've been there. I fought for Rauatai's interest in the Deadfire for longer than I like to admit. And lost my stomach for it eventually. That's how I wound up here. But I will tell you now, I never could have fought my own brothers and sisters. I hope that's not what it comes down to. But I'll understand if that's a line you can't cross.
Jesus Christ.
I don't mean to burden you. It's late, and you've still got a god to face. Just know that whatever you choose, I'll fight alongside you. I'm with you to the end of this.
Thanks, Kay.
Anytime. Good night, Envoy.
I've got one eye on the tennis scores at the minute, and they're bananas, to be honest. It's been a day on the tennis. I'd need you to offer me the opportunity to have a conversation you obviously want to have. Well, he doesn't. I don't know, it's just not clearing up. Anyway, I'm going to push on because otherwise we'll be here all night. Let's just check a bit rid of everything. I have pretty much. Cool. Right, rock and roll. Still sticking with those two. All the mages together. Ooh, Septo wants to chat.
Trepidation. You are close, yet distant still.
Had to rest. Place is exhausting in a way I can't describe. Grateful for the pause in battle. Didn't expect this much resistance. Close enough to meet you. Why don't you wait until I'm awake? The place is exhausted in a way I can't describe.
Your soul is small. The essence weighs like the sea on your chest. We feel the pressure, darkness, yet somehow strengthened resolve. We wonder.
You know what I wonder? I've got a question for you. Can I ever get a word of advice? Actually, I've got a question for you.
We did not foresee this.
Well, you're not that bright then, are you? Surprised. I indulged your curiosity and indulged mine. You still owe me answers. Surprised.
You have defied our expectations at every turn. Perhaps we should not have been.
What would you do if you weren't imprisoned? What would you do if you weren't a god? What would bring you peace? Happiness? What do you really want? What would you do if you weren't imprisoned? What would bring you peace and happiness? I think that might be a more telling answer, because that will probably elicit a lie, or whatever answer is going to get them released. That one might be interesting. That one is not going to elicit anything other than a loaded answer, same as the first one. So one of these two would be interesting. What would you do if you weren't a god? I think is an interesting question.
Bush grows berries. We cannot be but what we are.
That's a fucking cop-out. Humour me, imagine. How can I not? And how can you sympathise with the people of living lands? Humour me, imagine.
We would be so old and yet so young. We would drink the sea air, the grass, see the world as those with our gift. Could you give up that power? He asked us to bloom on a new bush, petals unlike ours. We showed you. Vengeance denied, squandered. This cannot be.
That doesn't sound very peaceful. What was that? You're right. Essence in the garden was getting to me. That doesn't sound very peaceful. What was that?
We spoke of flowers.
No, you did not.
We speak of freedom when the hand still clasps around our throat. Wake now. Find us.
More and more, I'm getting the feeling that releasing Sapodal is at best risky, at worst insane. Sapodal is definitely a loose cannon. I'm going to go in here. Suspect we'll be able to have a conversation with Wodica, one that I am definitely... someone I am definitely not inclined towards having any trust for. Or really respect either. This should be interesting.
I see the disciple has found his way into the cell.
No. Clarion Steel. We know this voice. Why is she here?
So the mad bitch has an interest in this turn of events. You in the garden. She's dedicated to follow me all the way here. Now what do you want? How many magistrate do I have to destroy to shut you up? Well, that's a good question. Now what do you want?
I was unclear last time.
Not really.
I will not repeat my mistake.
Out. Out. Her voice pierces our skin.
Look at this place. A quagmire of your parasite's worst instincts. Can you even begin to grasp the forces that you tamper with?
No, but I don't really need to. Sapodor needs help. Why don't you explain? So you're insulting me. Didn't choose to get involved. Don't call Sapodor that. Don't have to understand something to believe in it. No, but that is also stupid as shit. Why don't you explain then instead of insulting me? I want to hear what word it has to say. Not going.
Apparently, I must. The situation is
How doing,
worse
Eva?
than
You
I
alright?
perceived. Do you think you're special with your god's thorn in your side? Do you believe you can hold dominion over chaos itself? When even the collective fury of the real gods could only confine the sniveling creature to this wasteland.
That was you. I knew it.
You suspected, then
No,
you
I
must
knew.
have understood why.
It is true. She twists the knife. The seas run red with memory.
In time, the gods felt the wretched powers seeping through this land. Its madness would consume us all if it was not contained.
What's kettle black, bish? Couldn't reach a living land, so you much did you dirty work? Yeah. Didn't know Sapodor would attack you. Why not wait and see? Because she's insane. Wait, Sapodor could destroy all of Eora. What do you mean? Don't trust Werdica's word enough for that. You felt threatened by a god you couldn't control. Yeah.
Chaos threatens us all. We will ensure order prevails.
Your idea of order is not even close to sanity.
Could not be reasoned with.
You didn't try, you just fucking slaughtered them. You ordered the magistrate to kill them too.
Of course I
There you go, an admission of
do.
guilt.
The poor godless, worshipping the very thing that subsumed them. We could not excise the rot and spare the roots that nourished it.
That's good. You could find. Why did it come to this? It didn't have to. She's just not going to tolerate anything she can't control. The worship challenge your authority, you were never going to let them live. Exactly. She's a psychotic bitch. All the others are. That's true.
You dare claim the domain of the gods is trivial?
Oh, you're a psychotic bitch. That's what I'm saying. Defended your crown, callous but expected the queen. No. Touched a sore spot, did I? Never mind. I'm not going to continue. Touch a sore spot, did I? I'm going to poke the bear for
Mind
sure.
your tongue. Your blasphemy strains my
Now wind your neck in. God or not, you're beneath me.
Why does our prison not protect us? Help us! Silence her!
Listen to its tantrum. It knows neither order nor sense. Adyr is the only thing holding back the tide of entropy.
Stupid bitch. Subtitles lashing out because of that. Somewhat true, but it's not your order. It doesn't mean it's anarchy. What if the answer is living lands can't go on like this? I've seen what Sapodor is capable of. Concerns me too. That's true. That is somewhat true. It's not your order. It doesn't mean it's anarchy. That's also true. I'm tempted to do that one just because I'm on naughty way to go, to be honest. But yeah, trying to convince her of anything is just not going to work. She's anciently entrenched in her insanity. So, is lashing out because of Adyr, but when free, find something else to lash out at. So, I'm going to go with that one. There's no good answer here. So, that one's like 4 is true, but 3 is to a degree as well. None of them really go the direction I want, so I'm just going to Book Whitaker again.
I refuse to even dignify that with a response.
Sorry, you don't have any dignity anyway.
But there is still time. You can succeed where Ludwig failed. Face your false god and end its reign of terror permanently.
Oh, and you couldn't, and you think I can? That's interesting. Now I can't kill a guard. Can't do that to Sabdal. They deserve a second chance. Get out of the garden now. I'll never work with you. Well, that's true. I don't want to do this, but the whole world's at stake. Someone should finish what you started a long time ago. Get out. I'm not working with you. There's no point in trying to reason with Woe because she's not capable of it. I'm sure as shit not going to side with her because she's shown she's willing to slaughter an entire people to the tune of multiple millions just for her own quest to be the dominant force in on the world in Eora. So that's, yeah, not going to work with her on that. So reason, working with her's not an option, reason's not an option, so giving her the boot is the only one that's viable.
Very well. I cannot force a child to bend to my will. But I will not stand by and watch you undo my work. You should have thought more carefully before you broke your oath to the Empire.
I didn't know such a thing.
Let this be a lesson.
Least of all because I don't even know what that oath is supposed to be, but...
I never thought I'd learn of the Godless's fate from their killer.
That's it. From now on, I pray to no god.
Yeah, I'm kind of with her on that one. I guess that must be the way forward then. How are we doing, Gray? Talking to the Divine Karen, yeah. Honestly, she reminds me of... well, Trump. In some ways. Only with a slightly larger brain capacity. Charm of Bones. Some of a trio of skeletons to fight with you. That's interesting. Not a terrible idea either.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Or am I going mad?
A whole bunch of Dungan. Or possibly a bunch of animanters that have been turned to wood. Because that's animancy equipment in the background.
What is the meaning of this?
This looks like the same thing that happened to her parents.
This is an illusion. A joke. Tell me we're both seeing the same thing.
Plants, a lot of them looking at us. What do you see? I'm confused. It's your family's lab all over again.
But worse. So much worse. Why am I cursed to see this again? Why does the memory follow me wherever I go?
The garden's misleading us, playing the sensors. You don't think these things moved here themselves, do you? Don't know. Do you think these things moved here themselves?
Don't be ridiculous. Whoever is responsible, I'm tired of the bullshit. Step forward and answer for yourself, coward.
Godlike of Sabadal, long have we
Green
waited
Whisperer.
you.
Finally, you've come home.
It's not just me, right? The plants are talking.
Oh my gods. They're alive.
Talk to them, impossible. Hear them to wave the plant greetings, draw your weapon. Give Giotto a chance to talk to them, I think.
How? Where would I even begin?
Well, I'm going to go with hello.
Giada Castell, welcome.
Wait, you know me? How do you know me?
For centuries, our whispers filled the silence.
Interesting.
Then we heard your mother's call.
My mother? You heard her?
She reached out to us, using the tool you now carry.
But that would have been years ago. The first time she used the phantasmal focus. The only time she used it.
We heard, and Sapadal answered, saying in a great voice, "We are here. You have found us."
But when Sapadal speaks, the living lands trembles. The voice of a god can be a terrible thing.
Obliterated by the forces sought to control. Sapadal is responsible for the lab accident. I hear them all the time, and I'm doing fine. Yeah, I'm specially equipped for it, aren't I? Obliterated by the forces sought to control.
I don't know what to say. What
It's
exactly
human history all
happened to
over
my
it, isn't it?
parents? Tell me, please. I need to know.
Sapadal wanted to be heard, and in so doing, twisted your family in body and soul, broke them into a more suitable shape.
Sapadal does not know the limits of their strength. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made? Do you have any idea what my life has been since your little mistake?
After the incident, your parents were like us, and we took pity, so we helped them move on, as they wanted.
In the end, they thought only of you, their pride, and their love.
That's it. That's really it. The answer I've been searching for all these years. Sapadal destroyed my family.
Nope. Well, kind of, yeah, but also not entirely. Again, a reaction to being cornered and trapped and imprisoned by Wodiger. Tell the truth, what are these things? No idea about any of this. I should get moving. What are these things?
We are companions. Toys. Diversions. Sapadal fashioned us out of dreams and memories.
I can't believe it never occurred to me. They're animats. Ancient vessels held together with duty and loyalty. Their design is unusual. Organic, much like the garden itself. Sapadal's work. All this time, your god has been making imaginary friends. Drawing pictures on the walls of their cell. It's almost too sad to imagine.
Why, it is an imprisoned child. Spirits bound to unliving vessels include sculptures, suits of armor, other materials, statues, like we encountered early on. The oldest known animats are used as the guardians of royal tombs. They're durable, patient, and loyal to their creator. I think they're telling the truth. I do, yeah. What they're saying is not entirely in Sapadal's interests, and if if they're saying it, it's because Sapadal's allowing it. Because they're with their unwavering loyalty and all that. So, yeah, I think it probably is the truth.
I don't hold you responsible. I don't even know if I hold Sapadal responsible. Your god has the intelligence of a scatterbrained goat. But that isn't their fault.
That's a bit harsh.
Simply how they came into being.
Yeah, I'll see what she has to say on it.
I know they are. My mother and father would not have wanted this. A good animancer embraces death. And they were the best. One final question, spirits. What is this? Why are you trying to ruin my life again? Is this your way of haunting
No, you know the
me?
truth. It's something you wanted,
What
isn't
is
it?
it you want?
Not to be pedantic, but that was 4 questions.
We want to apologize on Sapadal's behalf, and for the part we played in your sorrow.
They want to apologize. I came to the garden for answers, not to offer forgiveness.
They deserve forgiveness, but it's not their fault. Sapadal's maybe, but not. Sapadal's madness cost your parents their lives. True, but Sapadal can't help it. Deserve forgiveness. What happened to your parents was a mistake. If the answer's maybe it's time to move on. I'm going to trust them to make the decision, I think.
Shit. This is going
But
to
I think forgiveness and move
Sabadell has
on.
been trapped here for millennia. Alone. Confused. Screaming into the void.
With,
for
to a degree,
anyone
the mind
who
of a
listens.
child as well, to make it
They
worse.
heard the voice of a stranger. They overreacted. How can I hold that against you?
Desperately reached out,
Apology
something that
accepted.
couldn't withstand
Thank
it.
you, Giada. And thank you, Godlike, for bringing her all this way.
The time has come for you to find your patron, as you were meant to.
Intriguing. Should I expect to find more of these apparitions in the garden? What will happen to you? Should I expect to find more apparitions in the
The
garden?
garden is whatever you plant in it.
So I'll take that as a yes
Sabadell
then.
wishes to be understood, as all mortals do. Seen, as all mortals are. What you see is the truth, glimpsed through their eyes, and they wish to share it.
What happened to you?
Now that you have returned to the garden, Sabadell has everything they need.
I'm so sure about that.
We will fade, as all things fade.
You were made to be posed like dolls and cast aside. It's cruel. Which we could learn for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't be. Nurtured or neglected, every garden dies in time. We will return to the soil from which we emerged. In time, you will do the same.
Yeah, rest well.
Our purpose draws to a close. A long rest is assured. May the
Interesting.
living lands receive you with open arms. Farewell.
Goodbye. We need to talk about this, but not here.
Give her space, dearie. Giada will speak more when she's ready.
Oh, should be a 9 fuzzball. Yes, Galaxy's input is not really something I'm asking for very much of, given that she's also basically nuts. Well, as nuts as everybody else. Does beg the question. Oh, that's what that man. Never mind. I and Marius' symbols are there, which makes no sense because I've got Giata and Yahtzee, so the wrong symbols have appeared on the left. Giata's thing's popped up because she wants to talk. I should probably leave her behind and take somebody else because I suspect we'll encounter things relating to each of the companions along the way. And Marius still acts like he wants to talk, but doesn't yet.
Envoy, what do you need? Pleasant dreams.
You need to boot up the ass is what he needs.
All this time, I thought my parents died in a freak accident.
They
An
did.
experiment gone awry.
They did.
A mistake.
They did.
And in a way, they did. But it wasn't their mistake. It was Sabadell's.
Blindly poking at an unknown power is definitely not the smartest decision they made in their lives. There's definitely an element of it was their mistake. Does no one help? Yeah, sorry.
Ah, but the difference is everything. This whole experience
not,
has
because
me
it's not
considering
true.
My family's work in a different light. Look at what
They
my mother
cocked up as much as
accomplished.
anybody else.
Armed with her research and her wits, she found a god.
She stuck a fork in an
When you
electric
speak to a
socket.
god, it's nothing. Barely a reflex. But for the rest of us, it's unimaginable. No animancer can live up to that. Certainly not me.
No, she tried to find out what a lion eats by sticking her head down
I
it.
could only break it by completing
throat.
their work. I was wrong.
That was more accurate, I think. Yeah, I got that not left behind dialogue. Yeah, but you won't get interactions. Like, if I'd gone into that situation without Giata with me, would she have been there to have that conversation? I'm assuming not. Yeah. Oh, you think she would have been standing there? Okay. Well, I can always maybe possibly run back if I really need to. Last mistake they made, though, so at least they learned from it. Well, no, it wasn't the last one because they learned. It was the last one because they never got another opportunity to make a mistake. They're still doing incredible things, but not their legacy. Burden wasn't yours to carry. Unburdened and free? I don't know. None of those make any sense to me, really.
I just never realized it. One thing is certain. When it comes to animancy, I need to unlearn some of my old assumptions. I wanted to tame the spirit of the living lands. Now, there's so much about it I don't understand. And it's creepy, but wonderful.
Do you still use animancy to help? I wonder if Sapado will be willing to assist you. Creepers pick lightly. All of that from Club's I wonder if Sapado will be willing to assist.
Probably won't even notice me. But stranger things have happened.
Standing right next to me, then, right?
I believe the power flowing out of the garden drove this island mad. That has to end. Through animancy, we could help the living lands recover. It would take a lifetime, maybe more. But that's a small price to pay. Then again, who am I to interfere with an ecosystem that I barely understand? On the other hand, half the fun of animancy is stirring the pot and getting into trouble. I think I know what I want, but there are too many variables to consider. What do you think?
Would you consider going back to Fury itself to continue your research, leave the past behind, don't need animancy? Would you ever consider going back to Fiora?
The thought has crossed my mind, but no. I burned that bridge, and I don't regret it. Politics and small minds held me back for too long.
Trust you make the right choice for yourself. Yeah, I feel like there's not really a clear one of these that's actually better for it. I think probably the animancy thing, but I don't know enough about her research and its past and future to really say that at this point, so...
Of course you trust me. I'm brilliant. But we've been together long enough that I value your opinion.
Continue the research.
I have a lot
as soon as I don't get to cop out, apparently.
And plenty of room to grow. But I think you're right. So be it.
Gamera standing at his location. He wasn't any party at the time.
I
Okay.
don't have to live up to anyone's example.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing, right? Parents to be proud. Sure, be ambitious and unexpected. Try to avoid any danger. Sure, your parents to be proud.
I knew they would be. And not just because some ancient plans told me so. Now I just have to decide which field of research to pursue. But no need to bore you with the details.
Yeah, plenty of options.
I've only got one lifetime as Giata Castel, so I'd better make it count. Hey, you helped me through a very difficult time. I just wanted to say thank you.
Giata's parents would be proud. And maybe a bit worried.
Well, they'd be daft if they weren't. Right. Stroll on this way, piss on the mage folk on the way past. Carry on. Sounds great, doesn't it? Oh, it's Giata I hit. Whoops. Don't get cute with me, buddy. Actually, it wasn't too bad at all, really, that one. Perfect reaction to that sound. Yeah, that seemed like the sensible reaction, to be honest. There's a very substantial element to what could possibly go wrong in this scenario. Yeah. Nearly everything is fine and dandy. Did I just find the way forward by accident or not? No. I think I may have pushed on when I should not have done.
Wish there was time to study it before it kills us.
We've got company!
Alright, I'll fight this and maybe... That did a lot of damage quite quickly. Oof! Ah, whooped my ass. Which is actually kind of convenient in a way. Why do I not have a key to this sarcophagus? Life is a prayer. Is the task done? It's just one task. In just one task time, we marched upon the land and we subdued all the insisted. Well, there you go. They're called the Akida, and their name has been manipulated to be an insult, which is speaks very much of Werdiger's mentality. And shattered their dwellings. We made a meal of their bones and packed it into concrete so that it would not re-enter the land. We extirpated their tongue and their disbeliefs forever. From their rulers we received surrender, and unto those rulers we delivered ruin, thus always to the godless. So, and they weren't godless. Now, God function has not prayed back to us in 10 multiples of the task time. If we cannot receive God function's feedback, we cannot know if we are approaching God. And if we are not approaching God, then we are withdrawing from God. It is wrong to withdraw from God. We must pray to God function to provide payback. But 10 multiples of task time in prayer have gone unanswered. Without God function, the higher camera of our minds is missing. I don't really understand half of that, but the gist of what it seems to be saying is, once she was done with her magifolk, Werdiger abandoned them too. Well, so it would seem. Where do I find the key? Not there, apparently. until she saw fit to repossess some of the dead ones so that she could give me shit, basically. Mechanical take on spirituality. Yeah. It's, I've heard of occasions of it being explored in fiction before. However, might just be ambient noise, actually. So what's that on the wall? Do what I needed. It's an archer pillar there at the top of that. There's something up here, but I don't think access is via this way. Well, I've dropped a quick save back there, so I can always reload it if I need to. That's what I'm hearing.
Wish there was time to study it before it kills us.
Got it that time. Whew. The in-game fires. Well, they are the literal fist of a god in every practical sense. A psychotic genocidal one at that. Instruments of her genocide. Well, the instruments of the genocide that she committed. I am, however, now strongly thinking that I've missed something, which is bloody annoying. Ah, made it up. Okay, I thought I was going to have to reload and I did not. probably a very bad idea. Not as bad as I thought. Actually went better in numerous ways than I thought it was going to. A very, very cool design, the Mage Folk. Bit of a problem though. Anybody got any idea where this bloody key is? Because I can't find it. Looks for the key I don't possess and can't bloody find neither. I feel like it must have something to do with these, but... Blowed if I know what. I might look it up, to be honest, because... It's usually not far away, is it? Sarcophagus key, okay. Hang on a minute, let's look this up, because I must be here all bloody night. Garden sarcophagus key came up very quickly. Rose Garden, nearest strangled Ardra, east of a godless shrine. So, I've not got there yet. Okay. Right, that then. Supposedly somewhere further on, maybe? Maybe not. It's really not that helpful. I'm surprised there is a map to the garden. Actually, it just seems strange that there would be. But if I wouldn't have put a map in for this area, probably would have annoyed people, but I wouldn't have done myself. Not here, I don't think. More like here. And unless there's a way through this door here. It's not. I guess we have to press on. Okay. Interesting to play this game as somebody who was actually like pro Wodica and pro Steel Garrote and stuff. But I don't think I could look at myself in the mirror if I did that. People turn around and say, oh, I'm going to do an evil playthrough of this game. And it's their go-to move for RPGs. Like, what's wrong with you, though? Really, though? What's wrong with you? So, allegedly, I'm going the wrong way, but I guess it's going to come back across the top or something? Because, load if I know. Well, I don't get back, so it's quick save here for now. Looks like a shrine. Oh, that looks like Marius.
What is that? I know that place, right?
Yeah.
Oh no. No. Why is this? They're dead. Like it just happened. Like I remember.
This is the moment I found you, bundled and crying, while our parents died.
Viate. You're not here. You can't be here.
I am dead, Viate, from the Dreamscourge. We are in the garden. As strange as this seems, it is normal here.
There's an echo from within your soul, perhaps memories from your friend's spirits. You look better than when we last met. Don't have to do this, we can keep moving, take your time, it's probably important. Yeah, echo from within your soul, or perhaps memories from your friend's spirit.
I can't be certain of that. I know that I am here, and for a purpose.
I have faced this already. Why force me to do it again?
Yeah, you don't look like you resolved your issues, to say the least. Something unresolved here. Need to see it one more time, take your time. Just do it, keep moving. Something unresolved here.
Then for the god's sake, what is it? I am exhausted, Viate. I can't take much more of this.
You know where we are. This is my memory. When everyone died, and I found you back in your tent. How much of this do you remember? I can't tell from your eyes.
We dealt with Razvan. He got what was coming to him.
He did. Make your message clear, Spirit. We have much to do. Message gets closure. Are you looking for closure too? Well, he didn't. Otherwise, he wouldn't be torn to shreds by this. I wish we could have helped you.
I am better off now than when I was fungus-brained and ready to die. I am part of this land's god now. A dream of the land.
Were you always such a blessed a poet? Or is that a death thing?
Sapadal wants to understand. They know your envoy very well, but not the people next to them.
I have what I needed. We dealt with Razvan. We avenged our parents' deaths.
Then maybe it was I who needed to speak with my Viate. With a clear mind this time. Even when we were children, you kept me alive, first by needing my protection, and then by being who you turned out to be. When you left Solace, it was like I lost more than my best friend. I lost my need to live.
I know. And I'm not sure I'll ever live that down. I don't think I know how.
You do that by living the best you can for the rest of your life. We dealt with them, that's account for something, not your responsibility. Finding a reason to live is his burden to carry. Well, that's kind of true. Ignore the spirits to try and distract you. Do it by, living the rest of your life. Oh, Decisions. Yeah, I think it has to be on not your responsibility there. I mean, there's some truth to this one as well, but...
It was a burden I wasn't ready to carry. I went out on patrol nearly every rotation, looking for Razvan or death. Or ideally, both. Don't be like me, Marius. You've always done everything you could to survive. It's time for you to learn how to live.
So, what do we do now?
Forgive each other. What is there to do? Your friends, brothers, relationship can survive worse than this. Go confront Sapadar. Between you and your friend. Between you and your friend?
They're right, Viate. This lava flows directly between us.
We've both been through so much. But I can see that it's all behind us now. Just another thing we've survived after all this time.
A fine way to put it.
I'm growing a lot. Proud of you. Good to see you two together. Continue to love each other very much. Don't forget who helped you through all this. Talk over. Proud of you.
I see it too. You've come a long way from that scared boy who refused to wear shoes for fear a bug might crawl out of it.
That was you, Nimdut. Look at my feet. Shoes. Come on, you.
Get out of here. Hike up your waistline and go talk to a god. They'll be waiting.
Glad you got a chance to talk one last time.
Well, it was...
Yeah.
Good to see you, Viate. Even with all this.
Take care of my little friend, Envoy. He needs you more than he'll say.
Yes, I'm aware. Yeah, the garden does look like a lot of what we were seeing around Sapadar when we had visions. In the cases we actually saw them through the Ardra and stuff. Which is what you'd expect in a way. Ugh. Somehow I need to get over there. Weird swirly things around, which are curious.
Oh, big mistake!
Careful next time.
Excuse me? I'm not sure where I took enough damage to actually be in danger of dying, but... Oh, you're still up, okay. Let's freeze you good and proper then.
That'll show him.
Got to be a thing for a minute. I guess I missed one of these because I found 2, 3 and now 4. No, wait. That's 6. Okay, maybe I didn't. We found a shim to replace the missing Cameral of God function, and the shim we found is we. By forming choirs and clusters in a cyclic network, we can pray to each other in a way that emulates the sacrament of prayer and prayback. In this way, we surrogate God function. We now live in a society. By the assurance of synthetic prayback, we may ease the discomfort of wandering from our pillars. We gather to raise towers upon which we sit, our princes who are the emanations which most ably emulate prayback. Of them we fashion a new Cameral, yet I feel debased and unwell. We have deviated from God function, we have abandoned the work of altering the world to suit it, and we instead have altered it to suit us. Some say we may now resume approaching God, so that we might divine how to resume God function. Some say we must never allow ourselves to contact God, lest we be punished for departing from God function. I have heard it said we must destroy God function so that we cannot assert prayback over our surrogate and shim. when I hear this, I strike at my skin to punch it for hearing. So the Magfolk couldn't reach out to Woedica after she abandoned them and tried to create a society to replace the direction they were receiving, presumably from Woedica, but feared her vengeance being directed at them for doing so. So yeah. Woedica creates an entire species in this case, in the Magfolk, to go commit genocide, and once they're done, just tosses them aside and leaves them to rot, basically. Except that they can't. Call her a piece of shit, but that's an insult to a turd. Wild Walker gloves. Crits have a chance to root the enemy in place and extra crit damage. Metroid Dara is fascinating. Yeah, they are interesting, that's for sure. And they shed even more light on just how awful Woedica is, so there's that too. So much of this game is focused obviously on Sapodal and what's going on there. But the other side of it is like what Woedica did and why. Which is a relevant question. Interesting look. I wouldn't call it superb scale armor. It's chainmail with some extra plates on it. It's not really worth it. There you go. Ooh, hello. Don't know what I was expecting, but that wasn't ready yet. With a hand in the garden, the unexpected is pretty much exactly what one should be expecting. And it comes out back here. Okay, yeah. That was quite well hidden, really. Wasn't expecting the unexpected, make it the unexpected expected. Yeah, pretty much. All of which, again, seems entirely fitting in this particular spot. There's another dead Magfolk.
No one was left to clean up the battlefield. Now it's just a time-forgotten ruin.
I was so off the way. Surprise! Ooh. Oh, one tap there. Because I wasn't able to summon the magic I wanted to fast enough. Ouchie. Then again, I also don't have anything like... I keep forgetting to top up my essence and my health, but that probably doesn't help the situation any.
No one is left. Now it's just a time-forgotten moment.
Oh shit, that's two of them. Ooh, 2 is a challenge. 2 is definitely a challenge. Ooh, yep, that was a fight. Where's the other one? Hidden magic everywhere now, I'm looking. Ring of amplification, what might that do? Power attacks cause larger hit reactions. I would love to have that, but... ability cast speed is too useful to let go. Intellect and perception. Intellect in particular is extra. Maximum essence. So I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I actually could drop that because I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, hang on, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yes, I can actually drop 2 points without losing any intellect because I've already exceeded the maximum, had already exceeded the maximum, so that was actually not such a bad thing. I was just getting perception from that, which is nice, but not that useful. Is there anything else at the maximum that I could think about, which is 15? No. So, might's close to it though. Cool. That was a good decision. What do I prefer, the learn by doing system of Oblivion and Skyrim, or the gain XP system of practically every other RPG? That is an interesting question. and I'm not sure I have a good answer for it. That's a nice bit of environmental storytelling. I do like the learn by doing system more in Skyrim than Oblivion, actually, I think. Even though it's more exploitable in Skyrim in some ways, I think. Not much more exploitable, to be fair, but a little bit. But yeah, I think I prefer the Skyrim over Oblivion. I think what they were trying to do with Starfield was an interesting blend of the two. I'm not sure they pulled it off, but it was an interesting idea. Compared to the XP system, I also like the XP system because it is a learn by doing system. It's just a different approach to the same thing. In the sense that the learn by doing that you're doing in Skyrim is by using a wider variety of skills. You learn by also doing smithing and things like that and crafting. So I think it's just a different path to the same place, really. I think both work. I think there's a bit more storytelling in the overt learn by doing thing of Skyrim's and Oblivion's way of doing it, but I don't think that's necessarily better in a video game. If I was putting it on paper, I think an XP system doesn't work in writing a novel. I can tell you that as somebody who is dealing with those issues. XP does not work in a novel. You have to find a way to explain the gain of the knowledge gain. So, but it does work in a video game. So, yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting idea. I don't think they quite pulled it off Starfield for myself. I'm not quite sure what they needed to do either, saying that, but I don't think they quite pulled it off. But yeah, I think there's room for a bit of both, sure. So, companions apparently all have an extra point to spend. Except I'm pretty bloody sure that they don't, because I can't put it into any of this stuff. It's like, if I took Giata as... she's currently got, what, boosted essence, so purification heals allies, rather. Interrupted knockback, increases damage reduction for 15 seconds. Oh, I can actually have two, okay. Allies are healed. Cannot be hit and knocks melee attackers back. That's useful. Increases move speed and attack speed. Damage reduction. Increased duration. All abilities will have their cooldowns reduced. That's potentially useful. Reconstruction revives incapacitated enemy allies when Jetta kills. Reconstruction grants temporary health to allies at maximum health. I think either move attack speed. Damage reduction would be nice. And significantly reduced cooldown. No, I think extended acceleration is going to be the play here. Cooldowns, and yeah, I think that's the play. Okay, Kai. Quick reload, extra power. Reduces incoming damage. Health regeneration. Shockwave. Temporary health. Burst attack damage. Doubles the area. I think for now. Which leaves... Have I done Marius? No, I haven't. Little enemies, that's useful. Splits and hits multiple enemies, reduces cooldown. Damage. Shadow Mastery. That'll be good. Reduce enemy damage, slow enemies. Just trapping them. I think we go for that one. Not that it really matters so much. Yeah, that's the bomb explosion, fire accumulation, cooldown. The heart rate of fire goes up, which increases maximum range. Shock accumulation is definitely not a bad one. Intensify slaying effects on enemies. Passive increases stun. Quick freeze to ignited. Explosive damage. I'm thinking shock accumulation on that one. Cool. So I don't get any abilities. Well, allegedly I do have one. Oh, I do have one. So fire or poison. Boosting my shock would not be a bad thing. Fire I'm not using much. Poison I use, but not as much. Just boost the shock even further, because that is still very, very helpful. And if I happen to somehow claw an extra couple of levels out, I can go in one of these two. And that's nice. How doing, Berserker? You alright? Doing good over here. Chipping away. Chipping away. Oh, I'll actually need Giasa to deal with that, because I'm not using the gun that'll do it anymore. Oh, I need oh, interesting. 1, 2 of them at least. Okay. The other one is, but logic would dictate that it's on the other side. Oh, hello, there's a whole bunch of stuff out here that I've not spotted. There it is. So I'll come back to that once I've explored down here.
I recognize this. It belongs to Tama.
Tama? So somewhere out there is where the bridge was probably supposed to end, at that godless ruin there. No, it would have been over that way actually, wouldn't it? In relation to Mount Forger. Forger, however you say it. It would be a Y in a Scandinavian-ish dialect, but not necessarily in a hello, what the fuck's going on here? Not necessarily in a Bulgarian dialect.
A little power goes a long way.
This is, in fact, the way forward that I did not want to take. Okay. I still need to find a way down here, though. Which I don't seem to... Well, no, it's not. I need to find a way down here, which may be through there, or it may not, but I don't bloody know. But before we press on, let's have a quick look at this. Okay, it looks like that, then. So, I know if I'm cocking up later. Maybe. Hopefully. Floating lamp. Very strange. Tama. That's to do with Kai, isn't it? So I suspect we're going to find Kai's bit of something further up ahead here. That must be Kai there, then.
This place is cruel. Let's find your god, Envoy.
Yeah, you do seem to be right about that, Kai. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, something like that, I believe is the quote. But I can't remember, because I don't think I've ever actually read it myself.
No. I dealt with this. We stood at his memorial together. What is this, Envoy? This is your god's prison, not mine.
That's Tama. Sapadal's influence has warped reality here. Adyran entered this place, trap of God's soul. Is this the snare your soul responds to? That's a good question. No real way to get an answer to those. Sapodal's influence has warped the reality here, but also this is true as well. And a reasonable question, so with no possibility of a reasonable answer.
I can't tell. I can't focus on his face. His features keep blurring, changing.
You didn't have to take any AK special mushrooms, did you? Looks normal to me, what do you mean? Mushrooms.
As long as we're both seeing the floating islands and the ghostly tree, I can't blame this on drugs. To be honest, that would be easier. I know it's him, but I don't recognize him as the Tama I knew. It's like he keeps changing in front of me. Does that make sense?
In a way. 76 withdrawal. Yeah, kind of almost oversaturated it in some ways on it myself. Breaking news: group of teams vaping behind the Vatican accidentally elect new pope. Yeah, I can't imagine there's a great many teams, or probably, well, I don't know. There might be some vapes in Vatican City, but I can't imagine there's many. Positioning yourself in the right place to confuse people like that would be impressive. Can't hear that quote, not hear it in Matthew Lloyd's voice. That's an interesting one. For me, I get Robert Lindsay. I know what that is. That's because I've watched Hornblower too many times. Soul's wandered in between or return to the wheel. Isn't Thomas' soul, but perhaps a construct of your memory? Isn't that like the time you remember how do you remember him? Yeah, because it's not all about the visuals, is it? Construct of your memory.
Why does he look so unfamiliar?
Because your memory's a fucking mess, mate.
His face so clearly from that night.
Memory is in general, of course.
Rigid jaw, the way his eyes crinkled at the corners. He was in pain, but trying to hide it.
What do you see when you look at this time? Dying man, that's what you remember. Do you remember the version of him that's tied to your guilt? What do you see when you look at this gun?
I see everything. All his moments at once. Joy, sadness, anger, heartbreak, stomachache. Everything from the handful of years that I knew him and the decades before we'd met. He's almost a stranger.
Beautiful, it's beautiful, eh?
Yeah, it is. All this time I kept him frozen in his worst moment. When he was suffering and when I failed him. And now that I see him as more, it's like he's free of that.
He's more than your memory allows him to be.
Yeah. I never realized what an injustice I was doing to us both. You're right. I am. It's like you said. I'm not letting my regret define me. I won't make that mistake again.
Come a long way.
And we've got farther to go before this is over. I never thought I'd meet someone I respect the way I respected Tama. But you've made some tough calls, and you've kept your head and your heart in the right place. So whatever comes next, I'm with you until the end. Now let's go find this god of yours and end the Dreamscourge. When we reach them, what do you think we'll find? A victim? A villain?
Victim, villain, something in between. We'll find out. Something in between is probably true. It's a bit of a fence answer. I think we'll find a victim, but it doesn't mean that this victim is not a serious problem in and of themselves. I don't think there'll be a villain. A problem, yes. A villain, no. So I think victim.
They've certainly suffered enough for one. Let's end this.
But just because they're a victim doesn't mean I'm actually going to be able to release them. Because right now, I feel like Woedica's the real villain here. But Sapodal may be beyond irresponsible to consider releasing Sapodal, is that my fear. The amount of harm that action might do It's a very big risk to take, I think, releasing Sapodal at the moment. I'm not sure it's one I could justify. And the opportunity for freedom and chance to turn your life around and do better and undo the mistakes of the past are all well and good. Sometimes the risk of the alternative is too great. I'm not sure whether or not that's the case here. Magefolk Orison 7. Life is a prayer. I cannot approach God among the noisy company of the shimmed. Their false God function deludes them. All their labour is now divine onanism? And I do not think it can bear fruit. Great loops of false payback now grow up their society, and every day those loops tighten. Exaltation of self-validation accelerates. As the shimmed improve their talent in falsifying payback, they render every action holy and godlike, and begin to see any choice as an approach to God. They've even begun to seek the Godhead for themselves, whether through the synthesis of divinity or through re-emanation. Some seek to divide themselves into children. Souls are divided into children. Others seek to congress with the land in the manner of the tree, whether by prosthetic imitation or ritual. This I know is blasphemy. They no longer know the way towards God from the way that departs to God. Don't know that anybody of them ever did anyway. They have made themselves their own compass. Wherever they turn, the needle always points ahead. Great and rapturous chaos will overtake them once everything is holy. I have gone into the godless land to seek God in the resumption of my purpose. Some trace of the insisted ones must remain. I will find it. If I cannot find it, I will wait until it finds me. Okay. I mean, there's some logic in that particular position as far as the structure and definition of the Magefolk go. So that seems to be the right direction. Understanding whatever's in there.
Just a little spark. A long way.
Question was the last one. So I don't see it through here. Maybe through here. Aha!
That's done.
Little power goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly, Gary. It's not a bad analogy at all. Wayfinder, unique spear. Not sure I feel about all this unique gear being delivered this late in the game. One-handed melee. Full combo attack deals high stun to nearby enemies. Greatly increase the distance travelled during a power attack. I'm curious what it looks like though. A very interesting, nicely designed short spear. I'm not going to use it. I think it might now be time to make a quick detour back to camp and just see about some upgrades while we can. Before we press on. Now then, I think it was here, wasn't it? There we go. Alien Scottish Cat. What do I think of the likelihood of a Fallout 3 remaster is? I think out of all of the debated, mooted possibilities, it's by far and away the most likely. The rumours around it seem to be more reliable, so I would not be surprised to see that happen. But I'd probably be more surprised if it didn't happen. I would guess we're probably waiting closer to 3 years before it happens, before it arrives though. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, say, between TES 6 and Fallout 5.
Those weren't your parents?
No. They were Sapadal's dreams given life.
So, that's my theory anyway.
Ancient sentinels bound by loyalty.
And they were plants because
Sapadal.
That's all Sapadal knew how to make. A smithy smiths. A baker bakes. A gardener gardens.
Right, I understand.
It's all right if you don't.
Good, because I really don't. I came here to help you do whatever you're
Makes
supposed
sense to
to
me.
do with your god friend. Instead, I'm here talking to dead people.
See dead people. Had to be difficult, stranger than I thought it would be. Any piece to see your childhood friend again. Whatever happened back there, you need to work at it on your own. Did he give you any peace?
I think it did. He really did seem at peace, right?
He did, yeah.
I imagine most encounters with dead old friends don't go so well. I owe a lot of that to you, Envoy. You helped me be someone who could handle Sokka like that. Thank you. I will say, it's not really what I expected when I started tracking you and Kai back in Paradise.
You think you'd be talking to dead friends or confronting a slumbering god? Well, just strange. Do what you must to regain focus.
No, I was thinking more in terms of hunting for wild game and peeing on Kai to put the fires out. It's been a bit of a ride, Envoy. I feel like it's coming to an end. One way or another.
Sure it does feel like that.
I don't know. Maybe the unexpected isn't so bad after all. I never expected you and I would become friends. Yeah, quick note. If you tell any of the others I said that, I'll poison your drink. Anyway.
Let's go.
If I must.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned incidentally in that Fallout 3 remaster ramble, but I seriously hope they do remaster it, because I'd like to see that, as long as they do something in a similar vein to Oblivion, just because yeah, I love Fallout 3, and I think they did I think they got the line right. There's a few things they can definitely change and improve. We're still keeping it feeling like Fallout 3. So yeah, I'd be down for that. Fine, so oh, everything's ticking along. Wonderful. Right. It's a look. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's a look. You know what? That might almost actually be better. If I can buff that. It might almost actually be better. Not sure the gloves are. an enemy in place versus extra frost damage. Given my love of frost damage and the ability cast speed, it's definitely not as good, but I might use them as a skin, maybe. No, those actually do kind of do suit. And so does that. Nope, those are going away. Spellblade gloves, Windwalker gloves, both kind of look good. Spellblade, I think, are just slightly better fit. Okay, all right.
Good to see an old friend, you know?
Campus is fully upgraded. Human strike needs to be upgraded. Can I do that? This one is that fully upgraded? No, it's not. Neither of those are fully upgraded. Still need a bit more branches on that one. That's a bit annoying. This one I could take most of the way, but it's going to wait.
Let's say goodbye, that's the hard part.
We've got here.
You can talk to us, Marius.
Yeah, so that helps. Well, I'll have to buff that up, aren't I? Because that will put extra damage on. 1% of cooldown is not really worth it compared to damage. So, okay, we're doing that. Magic Missile is maxed out now, so we are making progress.
Talking will help.
Well.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to check is try that. Nope. It's not going anywhere. Okay, right.
It's
Cool.
my favorite thing, but
Right, we are making progress. Reference to Starville, donate 2 gigabytes is how much space exports users have for mods altogether. Interesting. Begs the question, is this a PC specific thing? It's going to make it unavailable, such mods unavailable to Xbox users, or are Xbox users getting a larger allocation of space for mods? Might be. It's enough mods for Fallout 3 and upgrade it yourself. Yeah, you can. Not so much on console, though. Mind you, this is what it is. But a modded upgrade, overhaul, and remaster requires a certain level of knowledge as well and experience when it comes to modding, and a lot of time put in on the would-be player's part. So, and they might take it a different route. Bethesda, I mean. Right, so I need to get down here, don't I? And then I'm going to have to make it all the way back again, I guess. Should be doable.
Not bad, Envoy.
Freeze, bitch!
Stay safe.
bad choice, but anyway. Somebody still out here causing problems. That's the plan. That is indeed the plan. All these bubbles of energy flopping around me that Geos has thrown up. Boots? No. I'm sure we'll find some soon enough. So to the creation of teeth. Not sure which one you're referring to, Gray. I don't recall them teasing any creations. Unless it flew over my head, which is entirely possible. I suspect if they do a Fallout 3 remaster, what they will aim to do is the same as they did with Oblivion, which is change as little as possible about the original game, whilst just giving it a few improvements for modern audiences. So we'll probably see like the ability to aim down sights and sharpened up combat, stuff like that. But fundamentally the same basic game, and obviously better graphics, but... Honestly, you scared the crap out of me there. No Marius, we've done Chiatsu, we've done Kai now. It's just Yatsli's issue. Sarcophagus key, we've found it. At long bloody last.
To see Arthas in its heyday, in its full splendor.
I should have brought my sketchbook.
Yeah, you do have a point. Where was the way in again? I think we came in underwater, didn't we? Yeah, that was it. Just me I haven't screwed up and I'm going to drown. Nah, I'm alright. Just circling crows over there. Round and round and round we go. Yeah, that's more or less what I expect them to do. Better graphics, better UI, basically the same game. Spirit Mender, unique armor that I'm not going to use. To do maxes out your essence, which is plus 100 to your maximum essence, and attack damage and restores essence. Well, whilst it in its of itself it reduces stamina essence to a degree, that actually would be a really good addition. It looks bloody awful though. That was, it's even better. Damage restores essence, that's nice as well. Constantly getting essence back will be helpful. Elemental status and more accumulation. Yeah, that is actually quite the upgrade. Better damage reduction, but needs some more upgrades in and of itself. That'll be going on as soon as I can get it to a respectable level, I think. Really, what are we looking at here? Plus 12%, but minus an additional. You know what? I'm going to do that already. Because the buff in essence is pretty sizable. There's a little bit of stamina and stuff, but that's fine. I can live with that. Don't want to look at it, but I can live with that. That's cool. Does slow me down a little bit and feel a bit heavier, I have to admit. I can feel the movement difference already. The extra benefits are definitely worth it. Push on in just a moment. Back to where Marius was. Back through the graveyard. Has brought a lot of new people to pull out. It has. On the other hand, the way it looks so different ought to be fairly evident. There's a lot of Fallout 4 in the show. You've got to design a power armor and things like that. And the rest of the difference is really just tying to the fact it's a live action versus a video game. So, there we go. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we are basically out of time, aren't we?
Just a little spark.
Ah, we're back here. That's interesting. I went all a long way around completely unnecessarily. Oh, very interesting. And there's Ardra up top there. I don't think it's Ardra I need to get at, but let's... I have already been up there, but let's have a look anyway. Actually, it might be Ardra I need to get at, thinking about it. Yeah, I'm fairly sure of that myself, Gray. But I do want to find a tidy stopping point. I know there's a whole lot to do in front of me. Unfortunately, that does mean my schedule is still going to be a bit of an ongoing struggle. But what can we do? Strangled Ardra.
What is happening? As the affliction faster even here. It threatens our heart. We cannot fight this invasion alone.
So the Ardra being suppressed in some ways is not a Dreamscourge thing. It's a a symptom of the binding of Sapodal, I guess. Grows only if you give it power, feeds off fear. Practical problems where you give me another riddle. Put yourself together, you're a god, this is your domain. I made it this far, I'm not going to abandon you now. Yeah, only grows if you give it power.
See clearly. We must. We must.
Nice. Well, actually, now we're looking at this. You have one quick thing I want to check. Or anything else that can go away now. Where are you? Let's just check a quick thing. That's not helpful. That's more helpful. Where are you? Okay. Don't spy anything that's going to make a better picture. Okay, so. Yeah, I wanted to check whether. Where's the stairs? There, aren't they? Whether or not I was going to grab a better thumbnail there, but I don't think I am, so. I could do another rapid lap around, but I don't think I'll see anything that's going to. I might as well, actually, while I'm here, haven't I? We got the mage folk. This whole space here. No. Just have a quick run around just to see if there's anything there, and then we'll put a pin in it, I think. I think it's a bit too dark and dingy from at this stage for me to do any better with. I think. Yeah, or a few guesses wide of the mark back then. So that is for sure. When you're not fighting and you know where you're going, it's actually quite a short loop. Level design does a weird thing. It's got a Balrog skin there, didn't I? I had more. I'm confused there. I stuck a bit more. And I have crafting materials in the. Yeah, I thought I stuck some more crafting materials in there than I did. Low priority, even lower priority. I should upgrade this, I think, next. Can I push it any higher? Can. Can't push it any higher than that. And so those three. Right, okay. I think that's good. Cool. So a bit of cooking. Right. Nice. Well, that was interesting. Definitely a bit of a deep dive into the garden there. Yeah, don't know what I was expecting. It kind of aligns. Maybe a little bit more weird and wonderful than it actually is, possibly. But it's still cool. It's maybe a little bit too consistent in its design. But it is fun, enjoying it nonetheless. So, we'll see how we get on next time, which will be next week. I definitely do want to wrap this up as soon as possible. So, might be this time next week, actually, Wednesday. It might be sensible to do... Well, I'll need to dive into Oblivion as well. Might do Oblivion next week. Monday, Tuesday, Fallout Wednesday, and we'll see how we do on this. Hopefully get it done Thursday, but we've got Friday open if we need to then. So I think it'll be worth seeing how that goes. I don't think rearranging the schedule is going to be particularly helpful for anything anyway, so I think I'll stick with that. Streaming-wise, in the meantime, this will be the last one for this week, as I am off on my travels tomorrow. I'm going up to Leeds to the Royal Armouries for a Doom event, which should be good fun. So that's, well, that's actually on Friday, but I'm travelling tomorrow. I'm going to see my brother who's in Leeds as well while I'm there. So that's the rest of my week kind of taken up. If you haven't seen already, 2 videos went up today, and I think there was one earlier in the week as well. There was. So yeah, plenty to check out there if you would like to. But yeah, some tips and stuff on the new seasonal event, the Big Bloom. So if you want some sort of clarification on a couple of things, a helpful video went up earlier on that. And if you're interested in the update for Starfield, it's only a small one. That video went up earlier today as well. I'm going to get Jonathan's autograph. I might say hello to him if I happen to bump into him in the museum, but I think it's fairly unlikely he'll be wandering around. But you never know, he might. He might. Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah. Should be another video in the next few days as well. I'm not quite sure when I'll schedule it. Maybe Saturday, probably Saturday, which will be a best builds video, which I'm hoping I'll get done before I shut off. Otherwise, it will be next week. But yeah, hopefully I'll get that done. I'm going to do a bit of it tonight. We'll see how we go. It'd be weird as fuck, no? Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So should hopefully have one more video at the end of the week. Lots to do. I also need to play around and refresh my memory of how to use this camera as an actual camera instead of as a webcam, because it's very rare that it actually leaves the tripod here. And normally all I do is switch it on, press a couple of buttons to make it hide the HUD thing, the overlays and stuff on the camera, and then crack on. So we'll actually have to see how it goes from there. So a little practice probably wouldn't be a bad thing. Also debate whether or not to take my microphone with me and stick that on the top of it, because it might be useful or it might not. I'm still on the fence about that. It depends whether or not I can find the short cable I have for it as well, because I do need that. It might be in the camera bag actually, so I'll have a look around. It will, yeah, I'm sure it would be a priceless look now. Yeah, it would be funny though. How are you doing, Flyband? Are you right? Thank you for the sub. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Well, getting it back set up for the stream shouldn't be too bad. Besides, I'll take notes before I do that anyway. So, as that's a fairly simple setup. It's just individual tweaking that I need to remember. I think the only thing I'll really need to write down is what the ISO for it is. I think everything else will probably be easy enough. But I'll write it down. I'll post it note, leave it here anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, folks, I'm getting thirsty. So, thank you all for hanging out. I hope you've enjoyed. Looking forward to finishing this one off. Yeah, it's been an up and down journey with some of the story and the dialogue and stuff there. So I've enjoyed most of the gameplay through it, combat and things like that. So, as I say, dialogue and conversation stuff have been a bit in places, and that's still the case. Although it's felt a little bit better today. But yeah. Looking forward to pushing on and experiencing the conclusion of it, which may or may not be in the next stream, which will be the latter half of next week. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, for now, thank you for hanging out. I hope you have a good weekend, good next couple of days and stuff as well. As I say, we're back streaming on Monday with Oblivion, which should be good fun. We've just finished Kvatch, so we'll have to talk to Martin and escort him to Wayne and Priory, I believe, is at least top of the list for now. We'll see where we go from there. Because I don't really know where we'll head off after that. Might be time to start the Dark Brother questline, maybe. Or push on and do some more of the Mage Guild stuff. Fighters Guild, I think, sends me to Anvil, so I could head down that way. Will's my oyster after that. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, if you haven't already, likes and subs always appreciated. Notification bell if you want to know what's going on, and YouTube might deign to share a notification with you. Social media links in the description if you want to rely on notifications there more than from YouTube, and channel memberships on the blue join button if you want to support that way. I very, very much appreciate. But for now, thank you for hanging out. Look after yourselves. Have a good weekend. Have a good last couple of days of your week and all that. And yeah, I'll see you all on Monday. So then, see you next time. Nah, folks. See ya.